Minasan, ohayo gozaimasu. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's event, From Memory to Action. We're so pleased to have you all with us today. To open this morning, it is a great honor to introduce our musical performance, an artist and an activist from Hiroshima, Ms. Mayu Seto. Mayu works closely with the Hibakusha in helping to create spaces where young people can truly connect with them. She uses her music to carry that connection forward, weaving what she has learned from the survivors into her songs. That work has taken her far beyond Hiroshima. She has sailed with Hibakusha aboard the peace boat on 3 voyages, sharing their stories in more than 40 countries across the world. It was those journeys that inspired the piece that she'll perform for us this morning, Colorful World, which she composed in 2013 and performs herself singing at the piano. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Mayu. The floor is yours.
Hello and good morning, everyone. Good morning. Sorry, I'm getting nervous and excited. So honored to be here in front of you. And thank you so much for letting me share my piece in such an important moment. Before I start to sing, I want to introduce about this song and also 2 people who is related to the song and the video I will show you along with the song. So, as she introduced me, I traveled around the world with A-bomb survivors back in 2013, and I made this song on the voyage. So I made this song on the cruise ship going around the world. We visited more than 20 countries at the time, so maybe we visited some of your countries to spread their messages and what really happened on soil on the day of the atomic bombing. In the voyage, I was one of the team members working together with Hibakusha, but another person who is from United States, he's also our team member. Actually, his grandfather was on the bomber Enola Gay on the day when the bomb dropped in Hiroshima. But I really respect him. He's a great photographer and videographer. He made this video clip I will show you today. And he's so sincere to face Hibakusha many times, and he had dialogue with them. And so since he's not in the video itself, because he was filming, I hope you can feel his existence in this space. Another figure I want to introduce you is one Hibakusha who appears in this video named Lee Jong-un. I call him Lee-san. Lee-san is always very inspiring figure to me. From him, I learned many things. He's a Korean A-bomb survivor in Hiroshima. And he used his Japanese name for a long time until he became his 80s. I think that shows one aspect of what he experienced in his life. He not only suffered from the atomic bomb, but also discrimination against Korean people in Japanese society. So I think music has very important role to connect people, and people always try to draw lines between people and say there's a prejudice, there's a discrimination, and even say, oh, they are different from us, they are the enemies. Then that lead to use such a weapon like atomic bomb. I hope this song and my singing will contribute to empower people to tackle with the line and borders, to overcome these feelings between us. So let me share the song named Colorful World. Can you start the video?
1945年ね、8月6日の朝、電車に降りてこの橋を渡ってここに来ました。ここで原子爆弾が炸裂して、ここで私は伏せました、この道路で。ですから広島に住んでて、ここを通るたびに、ここで被爆したんだ。
僕の歌声が届いたら、君の涙は笑顔に変わりますか？君の歌声が響いたら、僕の世界は色づき始める。たった一瞬の目もくらむ光で全てを失ったあの日の記憶、モノクロの写真の向こう側で見つめ返す瞳に映る景色はColorful world 忘れないで、いつでもそこに上がった空の青さを、この祈りは何色ですか？答えを託して捧げる七色の折り鶴。大きな地球にポツンと浮かぶ僕らの歌う声は波間にかき消えるようでもほら耳すませて聞こえるメロディー、海の向こうから重なり広がるハーモニー、大好きな景色を一瞬で奪うもの、悲しみの源は今もそこにある。真っ白な未来に向かう背中に黒くうごめく影に気づけたなら Colorful world つなげてゆこう、君の僕のあの子の目に映る景色を見える明日は何色ですか？七色に染まった未来に羽ばたく折り鶴。君の歌声を聞いたあの子が描く未来に笑顔があふれるように。 Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Batuan, and together with Anastasia today, we are honored to guide you through today's program, From Memory to Action. As members of the second Youth Leader Fund cohort, we are especially grateful to be here in Hiroshima with fellow young leaders, partners, and guests for this conversation. We gather here with deep respect for memory and with a shared responsibility to carry that memory into action for peace, disarmament, and future generations.
Throughout the morning, we will hear from distinguished speakers, youth leaders, and participants who will speak more about the program, its purpose, and the work behind today's gathering. For now, thank you for being with us. We will now move into formal opening of the event, and we invite Danielle and James to begin.
Good morning, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, esteemed ambassadors, and members of the diplomatic corps, colleagues, partners, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor and privilege to welcome you all to today's Youth Leader Fund event for a world without nuclear weapons. We are deeply honored by your presence and sincerely grateful that you have joined us today. Your participation reflects a shared commitment to dialogue, cooperation, and collective pursuit of a more peaceful and secure world. I would like to extend a special welcome and express our deepest appreciation to our distinguished guests, Chairperson Takehiro Kagawa, Secretary General of the Agency Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons in Latin America and the Caribbean, RECANA Vice Director Kazuhoku Hikawa, representative of city government, and Rebecca Juven from UNODA, and our Hibakusha representatives. Today's event represents the culmination of extraordinary journey through the YLF. This program brings together young leaders from across the globe with the shared purpose to deepen our understandings of nuclear disarmament, strengthen international cooperation, and promote peace. Nuclear disarmament, strengthen international cooperation, and promote peace. Coming together as young leaders from 39 different countries and backgrounds reminded us that lasting peace cannot be built by one nation or one generation. It depends on your willingness to listen, to learn from one another, and to work together despite our differences. Over the past week, we have had the profound privilege of learning not only through dialogue with experts, policymakers, and survivors, but also through experiencing Japan itself. Walking through the peace memorial museums and sites in Hiroshima and Nagasaki transformed history from something we had read about into something we could truly understand. Listening to the voices of Hibakusha reminded us that nuclear weapons are not merely a matter of international security or policy. They are, above all, a humanitarian issue that continues to shape lives across generations. Today is our opportunity to carry those lessons forward. This event is more than the conclusion of our journey. It is a reflection of our shared commitment to ensuring that memory inspires action, to ensuring that education strengthens advocacy, and that young people are recognized not only as leaders of tomorrow, but as meaningful contributors to peace today. With that, I will pass the mic to my colleague to guide us through today's program. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Following my colleague, my name is Jerry Michel. I am from Haiti, and I have the privilege to explain you the different part of this event. Just after I finish to present my point, you will have the privilege to watch a video of Mr. Fumio Kushida, who is a member of the Minister House of Representatives of Japan. And in his first hand, we will have the representation of the policy group. And second hand, the creative group will present these posters and explain about inside of some panel of discussion. And last of that, we will have the speech of the honor of August. And as I said in the first part, now, please, I invite you to watch and to listen to this few kind message of Mr. Fumio Kushida. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Fumio Kushida. To all participants and the youth leaders from the study visit program, first I'd like to congratulate you on being selected to participate in this study visit program. I would like also to express my sincere appreciation to everyone who has worked so hard to make it happen. The global security environment is becoming increasingly severe and complex, and the situation surrounding nuclear weapons has grown even more challenging. That is precisely why, as a politician from Hiroshima, a city devastated by the atomic bombing, I have dedicated my life's work to nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation so that humanity will never again suffer the devastation. At the heart of all of these efforts has been my commitment to sharing the reality of the atomic bombing with the world. I firmly believe that everyone who comes to understand the reality of the atomic bombing will choose to walk with us on the path toward a world without nuclear weapons. The theme of this year's Hiroshima Youth International Conference is memory. Memory will be lost if we fail to inherit it and pass it on to the next generation. We must never allow the memory of the reality of the atomic bombing to fade. It was this very conviction that inspired me to establish this Youth Leaders Fund. I am deeply encouraged that all of you are answering this call, experiencing firsthand the reality of the atomic bombing through your own eyes and ears, and carry those memories forward and share them across generations and also across borders. I hope this study visit to Japan will provide an opportunity for all of you as future leaders who share the same aspirations to engage in meaningful discussions, build lasting networks, and work together to advance efforts toward a world free of nuclear weapons.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to invite on the stage Ms. Rebecca Jovin, Chief of the United Nations Office for Disarmament Affairs in Vienna. Rebecca brings more than 20 years of international experience across the United Nations. Her work has focused on disarmament, non-proliferation, peace building, capacity building, and youth education, connecting policy with people and global security with practical action. She has also worked in post-conflict and development settings including Mali, Haiti, and Sudan, supporting national authorities and civil society in reconciliation, recovery, and peace-building efforts. Rebecca combines deep expertise with strong diplomatic leadership. Please join me in warmly welcoming Ms. Rebecca Jovin.
Is this one on? Thank you so much, Anastasia, for that more than gracious introduction, distinguished guests, friends, Youth Leader Fund participants. I first want to start with a huge congratulations on this tremendous achievement of putting together your own youth conference. So let's give each other a hand. It really is a privilege and honor to be with you on this occasion and to see such a full room. And I really know how hard you all have worked to make this meaningful and inspiring event happen. In this room today, we have young people from over 40 countries, from technical, scientific, artistic, communications, and policy fields, from communities that have seen or are currently witnessing conflict and war, from backgrounds where the history of nuclear weapons and nuclear disarmament was part of your formal education or oral history, and from places where nuclear weapons were perhaps never raised or something that might be relevant to you. I'm sure that the journey that you've been on, not just this week, but over the course of your engagement with the Youth Leader Fund, has left a lasting impression on each of you in a personal and unique way. I know for my part, it has moved me deeply. I have worked in the United Nations Office for Disarmament Affairs on nuclear disarmament issues over the past 7 years. And in fact, my first foray into the UN more than 20 years ago, as an intern and then a consultant, was in the distinct but connected field of disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration. And yet, this is my first time in Hiroshima and Nagasaki as well. And it truly is impossible to walk through these streets unaffected by the horrors that unfolded here nearly 81 years ago. And I feel it's also impossible not to be deeply touched by the courage, the resilience, and the compassion of the hibakusha and their descendants, and by all those who have made the pursuit of a world free of nuclear weapons their life's goal. It's equally impossible not to be inspired by the new generations of people who are fighting to keep the lessons and memories of the past alive. Youth ambassadors and volunteers, first, second, and third generation hibakusha, young peace activists, and all of you here today with us. I often say that the best part of my job is the work I get to do promoting disarmament education and working with young people. And I have to say this trip has only reinforced and reaffirmed that truth. I have seen not just future, but current leaders this week, people with empathy, conviction, eloquence, and passion, people who understand that the pathway to peace starts with us recognizing our common humanity. Your journey doesn't end here. I feel it starts here. And you will all be going back to your communities and homes with new perspectives and determination. The handbook the YLFers have developed on youth engagement and nuclear disarmament as an outcome of the conference, and I know several of you will be presenting it shortly, is your gift not just to you as a community and your peers, but those who will follow in your footsteps. I want to leave you today with a few statements by hibakusha that I've heard in the past several weeks and that left a particular mark on me. The first was a reflection by Setsuko Thurlow, a now 94-year-old hibakusha and nuclear disarmament advocate whom we had the honor to receive in Vienna just a few weeks ago. She recalled that the people who perished in Hiroshima and Nagasaki are not just anonymous statistics. They are human beings, each with a name, each who was loved by someone. And I feel these words are a powerful reminder that it's people, children, women, men, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, who suffer from weapons and armed violence. And I trust your time this week has renewed your commitment to tell and preserve their stories, to keep and honor their memory and their lives. The other statement I wanted to share is from hibakusha Keiko Ogura, whom we had the honor to hear from earlier this week. She reminded us that knowing is the first step to creating peace. By being here today, by committing to this journey in your own individual ways, you have done not just that, you have also taken the next step that she appealed to us all to hold dearly. You've confronted the question what you can do with that knowledge to advance mutual understanding and peace. Your theme for today is memory, from memory to action. And I know the memory of Hiroshima and Nagasaki is in good hands with all of you. And you have shown that you have many ideas and tools that can turn that memory into action. I look forward to seeing them unfold in the weeks, months, and years to come. So congratulations on this inspiring event. Thank you for sharing your journey with all of us. And thank you all for your unwavering commitment to peace and prosperity for all peoples and to a world without nuclear weapons. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you very much, Rebecca, for these inspiring opening remarks. Your words remind us why today's gathering is not only about remembering the past, but also about translating memory into responsibility and action. We'll now move into our first panel discussion, which will help frame today's conversation on peace, disarmament, and the role of young people carrying this work forward. To introduce the panel, please welcome Kudakwashi Shitapi.
Before we begin, I would like to kindly invite our honored guests, Hibakusha Ms. Koko Kondo, Dr. Kazuko Hikawa, as well as His Excellency Ambassador Juan Carlos Ojeda Viglioni to the stage. Good morning, distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, fellow YLFers, youth leaders, ladies and gentlemen, Ohayo gozaimasu. My name is Kunakwashi Chitapi, and I have the distinct pleasure and honor of welcoming you to today's panel discussion, riding on the theme and purpose of our event, From Memory to Action. The title of this conference is both simple and profound. Memory is often understood as an act of looking backwards. It preserves stories, honors lives, and reminds us of where we have been. Yet, memory was never intended to remain still. If it only asks us to remember, then it risks becoming little more than annual commemoration. Its true purpose is fulfilled only when it changes the way we think, the way we lead, and ultimately, the way we act. Perhaps then, the distance between memory and action is not measured in years, rather, it is measured in what we choose to do with what we know. Over the past few days, we have immersed ourselves in places whose significance extends far beyond Japan. We have stood where history changed the course of humanity. We have listened to testimonies that have challenged our understanding of nuclear weapons far beyond political or military dimensions. We have encountered them as profoundly human experiences, experiences that remind us that peace is not inherited. It is cultivated, it is protected, and above all, it is a choice that must be renewed by every single generation. The question before us now no longer simply, what happened? It is, now that we know, what should we do? That is the conversation this panel invites us into, and I believe the composition of today's panel reflects that journey remarkably well. So, we begin with memory. We are honored to be joined by Ms. Koko Kondo, whose life and testimony remind us that history is never merely a collection of dates and events, but is first and foremost human. As a Ibakusha from Hiroshima and a lifelong advocate for peace, she has spent decades ensuring that the voices of the Ibakusha continue to reach audiences across the world. Through her testimony and humanitarian work, she has shown that remembering the past is inseparable from building peace for future generations. We then move to evidence and understanding through Dr. Kazuko Hikawa, Vice Director of the Research Center for Nuclear Weapons Abolition at Nagasaki University. Drawing upon decades of experience in diplomacy, arms control, and nuclear policy, her work demonstrates that disarmament is sustained not only by ideals, but also through research, verification, and international cooperation that transforms historical lessons into informed policymaking. Representing the sphere of multilateral diplomacy, we are privileged to welcome His Excellency, Ambassador Juan Carlos Ojeda Viglioni, Secretary General of OPANAL, the Agency for the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons in Latin America and the Caribbean. A distinguished career diplomat from Uruguay with more than 4 decades of experience in multilateral affairs, including his work with the International Atomic Energy Agency and other international organizations, Ambassador Ojeda has helped advance and remind us of the collective international efforts required to turn the aspiration of a world free of nuclear weapons into practical and enduring commitments. And finally, guiding this conversation is one of our own, Ms. Julianne Villa from Malta, a fellow participant of the YLF program. Her work at the intersection of data science and politics represents the very reason this conference exists in the first place. She is the reflection of a generation that understands that the future of peace will require not only conviction, but also call upon young leaders to bridge disciplines, channel conventional thinking, and contribute fresh perspectives to some of the world's most challenging and pressing security challenges. Before we begin, I would like to extend a warm welcome to everyone joining us via the live stream. Wherever you are in the world, we are delighted to have you with us. If you would like to contribute to today's discussion, we encourage you to submit your questions through the live chat alongside the live stream, and we look forward to incorporating your voices into our discussion. As we listen today, I invite all of us to resist the temptation to see this discussion as one only of the past. Rather, let us see it as one of the present as future as well. After all, history cannot ask anything of itself, only of us. And it is there we may hope to find the true meaning of moving from memory to action. Thank you. It is now my great pleasure to hand over to our moderator, Ms. Julianne Vella.
Thank you for the introduction, Kuda. My first question is addressed to Ms. Koko Kondo. As a Hibakusha and a resident of Hiroshima, what was your experience growing up in a society and living in a community that was affected by an atomic disaster? And do you have a particular, perhaps unique story that you would like to share with us today?
Thank you very much. Gee whiz, it's wonderful to be sitting here to see you all. I would like to tell you that one person's story. But before that, I will tell you, I was only an 8-month-old baby when the bomb was dropped in Hiroshima City. My father educated in the United States, and he became a minister of the Protestant minister. So after August 6, 1945, the church was located about 700 or 800 meters away from ground zero. And after that, so many people, the church member passed away, and since I was a little girl, at first I met many children, but no adults supporting them. At first, I couldn't understand why. What's happened to the adults? Well, those children were adopted, orphans. The parents, grandparents, everyone passed away. So many of the children were living alone. Then, maybe I was 5 years old. Next, I met many junior high, senior high students, the girls. But they have keloid all over their bodies. And since my father is working for the Hiroshima, helping many survivors, and at home I saw so many pictures, and so many people came to the churches. So I thought, my goodness, only one bomb was dropped in Hiroshima City. Someday, I'm going to definitely find a person who will be on B-29 or a gay to give them a punch or bite or a kick. I wanted to revenge. But one problem, my father is a minister, so probably, I shouldn't tell them what I was thinking. But 1955, 10 years after the disaster, my father took 25 girls to the United States for the plastic surgery, because at that time, in Japan, was not, doing that kind of operation. And that time, he was in a TV show called This Is Your Life. And after that particular day, my mother and we, four of us, the children, were invited to that show. I will never forget. It was in a big hall. There's so many people. The audience are in the room. The highlight of this show was meeting my father, Reverend Kiyoshi Tanimoto, and Captain Robert Lewis, who was a co-pilot of the Enola Gay. They shake hands to each other at first, but of course, they didn't smile at all. Then the interviewer asked Captain Lewis, "How did you feel after you dropped the bomb?" Captain Lewis said, 8:15, they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. The target was, they said, T-Bridge. The bridge has a name, but it's very difficult for them to pronounce. So looks like the bridge looks like alphabet T. So that's why they call T-Bridge. They dropped the bomb at 8:15 to the T-Bridge. And of course, Enola Gay have to leave right after they drop the bomb. But they had another order. They had to come back to Hiroshima to see the result of whatever they dropped. Airplane came back to Hiroshima. He said, from the airplane, we saw the Hiroshima. Hiroshima was disappeared. Then he said, I wrote it in my notebook. My God, what have we done? Then I saw that his tears came out from his eyes. Because until that moment, I thought he was an enemy. But when I saw his tears, gee, he's the same human being with me. I didn't know what to do. I was age 10. After the show, do you know what I did? I don't want anyone to see me, but I walked on the stage and tried to stand next to him. I touched his hand. That's the only way I could do. And he could feel my little hands touching his hand. That's the moment I learned. If I hate not the enemy, I should hate war itself. Today's world, still, we have some kind of word, bomb. For me, today, so many young people are here. You are my dream. You can make a better world. And I'm dependent on you. Thank you for listening to my talk. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story with us, Ms. Koko Kondo. We are truly honored and grateful to have listened to your experience today. Having reflected on the past, we now look towards the present. Post-war politics compared to now are different, which brings me to my second question. Your Excellency, how do you work to address history as well as the current geopolitical reality? And for those that may be unfamiliar with the work of OPANAL in the audience, could you kindly briefly share what its work involves?
Thank you very much for the question. Well, after the moving testimony here, I think, well, it's difficult to continue. I'll try to do my best. Certainly, we are living today in a very complex world, and the security and political context is challenging. I was elected last December Secretary General of OPANAL the Agency for the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons in Latin America and the Caribbean. That was a pioneer treaty signed in 1967 that established a nuclear weapon-free zone in the whole Latin America and the Caribbean. And if you go back in history, you can recall the crisis of the missiles in Cuba and the tensions in the world, strong political tension in the world. So that was the way that Latin American and the Caribbean and some leaders with a lot of vision decided to get independence from political happenings in the world and preserve the region from nuclear weapons. And we established then the first nuclear weapon-free zone in the world. Since then, this experience has been replicated in other continents, in Africa, Central Asia, Southeast Asia, the Pacific, and Mongolia. As the oldest nuclear weapon-free zone, established by the Treaty of Tlatelolco, the treaty itself created a legal framework that was very useful. It was very a pioneer, as I said, and the treaty, these provisions of the treaty were very useful and served to design the Treaty of Non-Proliferation for Nuclear Weapons that came afterwards, and the whole legal structure in the multilateral world. So I'm very proud and honored to be the Secretary General. I was elected last December, and I took office this year. And the Treaty of Tlatelolco created at the same time an agency. There's the OPANAL to be sure that all the provisions of the treaty are accomplished. I mean the control system. We are 33 countries. All of the countries of Latin America and the Caribbean are members of the treaty and members of OPANAL, of the agency. Every 6 months, they report if there are any change in their nuclear status to the agency, so as to be sure that the status is preserved. At the same time, we have 2 additional protocols, one that engage the nuclear powers and oblige them to respect our nuclear weapon-free zone. And the other one, the second additional protocol refers to the colonial powers, mainly from that had colonies in the Caribbean, so as to do the same and preserve our nuclear weapon-free zone. And coming to the present, for a certain time after it was created, there was a certain entente between the nuclear powers and less tension. So sometimes people take it for granted that OPANAL was there and the Treaty of Tlatelolco was securing our nuclear weapon-free zone forever. Nowadays, in this condition and the present context, I'm aware that we had to do more, to be more proactive, and to get together with other nuclear weapon-free zones, and so as to show us stronger to the world. And as the oldest one, we offer other nuclear weapon-free zones our cooperation for institutionalization, for education, for disarmament and non-proliferation, and awareness, especially addressed to the young people. We believe that as you yourself here, all this experience you are getting is very important to build up a core of human beings in the world that believe in disarmament and will work towards that goal. I go on a personal remark. When I was your age, I was 23. I was already starting my career as a diplomat in the Foreign Service of Uruguay, and I was invited by Gaimusho, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Japan, as future leaders of Latin America within a group of 28 young persons, young Latin Americans. And I was here in Hiroshima. So what can I tell you? The same that happened to you when you were here and your first contact. It doesn't matter how much you read, how many photographs you see, how many stories. Then when you are here, you had an experience for your own life. 40 years later, I became the Secretary General of OPANAL, of the agency, and I really feel that my work can make the difference. And I have a very strong commitment to keep on working in disarmament, non-proliferation, and education for peace and disarmament. So just I want to convey you that my experience could be yours. You are full of enthusiasm and determination, so I encourage you to keep on that way and make the difference. Already being here and participating of this in very interesting and fruitful program, you are already making the difference. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, thank you for sharing your insights with us and for your commitment towards disarmament and peace. Moving now towards the future, preserving nuclear memory is essential to ensuring that the human consequences of nuclear weapons are never forgotten. From your perspective, Dr. Hikawa, how should nuclear memory be preserved both politically and educationally?
Thank you so much for your question. This is actually a very difficult question to answer. And you mentioned that nuclear memory. But I would rather like to ask you, what is nuclear memory? Or what kind of memories we should transmit to the future generations? I introduced the work done by young people, young professionals last year to this year on Tuesday to you, at that event in Nagasaki. We had 6 young professionals, 3 from abroad and 3 from Japan. They have conducted a research work from last July until last December about the transmission of memory and the role of Nagasaki. One of their conclusions is that we need to have a purpose if we want to transmit memories. What for? What for we want to transmit memories? And their answer was, their conclusion was, abolition of nuclear weapons. The purpose should be, there are many different views, but their conclusion is that the purpose should be to abolish nuclear weapons. That made me really think deeply again about the purpose. In my view, I think that you have already visited Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park, and I hope that you saw the prayer carved on the Hiroshima Peace Memorial. says that rest in peace, for we shall not repeat the evil. We shall not repeat the evil. I think, in my view, what we need to transmit to the future generation is this. We should not repeat the evil. It's not only the nuclear weapons, I think. As you mentioned, the war, conflict. Because not only nuclear weapons are the problem. When I moved to Nagasaki only 2 years ago, and I had the privilege to listen to testimonies from Hibakusha. Almost all of them, they of course explained how the devastation caused by nuclear bombing. However, their main focus is no more war. It's all because of the war. So I think that what the evil is, the war, of course, and the conflict, and the stupidity of the human being. Because yes, the human beings created the nuclear weapons, started war, fought each other, and just cost human lives for nothing, and cause a suffering. So I think that what we really need to transmit the memory is the evil, the fear of human beings. And how, the question, how we should do it. Teamwork beyond the generations. I think this is a key word, because the gender issues, gender equality. Like, the women did not have, in Japan, for example, did not have a right to participate in voting 100 years ago, for example, but that was overcome, fought through generations. So the important issues, or the issues which is difficult to achieve, needs to be fought over the generation. We should not somehow, of course, no. We should have a plan, and we should not be too impatient. We need to think about the future, and then we need to, what we can do in our generation. Like my generation, for example, I was born 1971, which means 26 years after the end of the World War, 26 years. And now I lived more than 26 years now, almost a double, So in the past 50, 60 years, we did not, we also, tried or made efforts to achieve the total elimination of nuclear weapons. However, we have not achieved that goal yet. We have not achieved that goal yet. So now, then what, for example, maybe I can live 30 more years, 30, 40 more years. What shall I do then? And I think that I'm at a stage to help young generations. That is why I'm here today. I think I'm very much engaged in youth program, because this is what we can do. And how I can help young people is that to share my experience, my knowledge, and tell you that please learn from the past, from the history. And if you want to start something now, so the theme of this event is from memories to action. If you want to start any actions, then please check what kind of actions have been already taken, and what is successful and what is not successful. Because only from that you can learn what you need to do. Yeah, for example, people might think that no progress or not enough progress has been made in the past 80 years with regard to nuclear weapons, but it's not true. In the Cold War era, there were more than 70,000 nuclear weapons in the world, but the number has decreased already. So, And the nuclear weapons has never been used in the past 80 years. That is also a kind of part of a success. But it's not enough. Of course, it's not enough. And to achieve, this progress, to reduce the number of nuclear weapons and not let the nuclear weapons used again in the past 80 years, people made efforts. People worked on that. It's not only civil society, of course, governments also worked. And I'm academia, a former diplomat, but I'm engaging in academic work in the past for 6 years now. I can see that there are so many people with different backgrounds, activists and experts, practitioners, politicians, and researchers like me. All of them have different roles and responsibilities. That's why I'm saying teamwork. Teamwork is very important. And transmission of memory, as you said, I think that is can be more effectively done by civil society or ordinary people or young people, I think. Because the government officials, for example, practitioners, they have other work. They need to, done their policies, and they need to attend conferences, negotiate documents, and make agreement, and so on. That is their responsibilities. But the civil society, as I think we have really huge responsibility to transmit the memories. But please let's think what kind of memories we should transmit, carry on. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Hikawa. I am sure that my peers, fellow Youth Leader Fund participants, and youth will reflect on your call for action and act. Having gone from memory to action, from the past to the present to the future, I now have a question from one of our wireleffers, Ikra, and this is addressed to all speakers in the panel. So feel free to answer. In a world where nuclear weapons are still justified in the name of security and deterrence, how can we challenge normalization of these weapons and shift global thinking from accepting fear as protection to embracing peace as true security?
Okay, thank you very much. I think we can never accept the threat or the use of nuclear weapons as a solution, as a philosophy for deterrence. And as have been proved by nuclear weapon-free zones, especially our own, that is now it's going to be 60 years old next year. This is the way to look toward peace and international peace and security. We are cooperating with, as I said before, with all other nuclear weapon-free zones. And at the end of the day, if you think we are 33 countries in Latin America and the Caribbean, we have the African nuclear weapon-free zone, AFCONE, and that in Central Asia, then Southeast Asia and the South Pacific and Mongolia. Then you think we have a total of more than 130 countries that bet for nuclear weapon-free zones and are against nuclear weapons in the world. Nevertheless, we had to be really, we had to, I mean, it's undeniable that we are in a very stressed international security context where the nuclear countries keep on having nuclear weapons. They are increasing their arsenals and increasing the potential of their weapons, their sophistication, so they become more lethal. But this shouldn't be a constraint to our action, our determination to keep on working. It's the opposite. It's the reason that we had to double our efforts towards our objective, that is a world without weapons. If we think about all the humanitarian consequences suffered in Hiroshima, Nagasaki, in all those places that were used for nuclear explosions as well, we cannot admit that anymore. So we keep on working with the multilateralism, the tools that multilateralism offers, as the nuclear weapon-free zones, the Treaty on Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, the Treaty of Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, to progress with our goal and work hard. I want to profit of this opportunity to thank UNITAR, UNIREC, and UNODA for this initiative, all together with the government of Japan, that is imprinting in all the young leaders here from different ways of life, different professions. This initiative, this commitment to work towards peace and disarmament. And I encourage once again to keep this way. It doesn't matter if you are going to be members of the diplomatic service, in your private sector, and civil society, but there is always a chance to progress with these goals. And from now, it's not that you are on the way to do, you are already contributing to that goal. So thank you very much.
I have so many, hopes in the future. Is that right?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah. And no more, the Nagasaki should be the last place. And our world is just wonderful and beautiful. We have to keep it. And since, the young people are here, boy, I can depend on each one of you. And I think we can make it for the next generation. So that's, my hope, that the children, young children, can live all their lives peacefully. So thank you so much for, this wonderful meeting. I appreciate it very much. And as you know, the hibakusha is getting old. Probably I'm the youngest one, but I'm already 81. But I know you, and here, and so many young people, I know you can make it, and I depend on each one of you. Thank you.
Okay, I also will try to answer to your question, how we can shift this belief that we need nuclear weapons for our security. I think I would like to make 2 points. The first one is, the Hiroshima vision, which was the final document of G7 Hiroshima summit. held in 2022, I think 2022. And in this the document, Hiroshima Vision, the G7 countries declare that we need nuclear deterrence. We need nuclear weapons for the time being, as long as nuclear weapons exist. That is actually also official position of the Japanese government. Japan is the only country owned by nuclear weapons, but still Japanese government states that we need to keep this nuclear deterrent policy as long as nuclear weapons exist. So this is, for the time being, this is a kind of a present and near future policy. But the problem is that then, okay, we understand as long as nuclear weapon exists, we need to have this nuclear deterrence policy. But then how we should achieve the world without nuclear weapons? There are no convincing plans or ideas. And I think that if we really want to shift the policy from security relying on nuclear weapons to the security without nuclear weapons, we need to provide ideas. Because I think government officials, they are too busy with other stuff. They don't have time to think enough of it. I'm not sure whether you agree with that, but I was also former government official, so I know how busy, how occupied they are with daily stuff. Anyway, so as a researcher, for example, especially as researchers, we need to really provide concrete ideas how they can shift from that security, shift their security policies. This is first point, and the second point is then what kind of security policy we need to pursue. I've been thinking about this question for a long time, and because I'm working on this nuclear disarmament field since 2002, more than 20 years, and especially when I left the ministry in 2019, I've been wondering why we cannot make any changes, because in the past 20 years or so, what I saw was always the same thing, same argument, same discussions, same negotiations, no concrete results. And I wonder where it comes from. And then remember 2019 and 2020, the world was shocked by pandemic, COVID-19. And not only the pandemic, around that time, we also witnessed, of course, environmental destructions, natural disasters, human rights violations, and gaps, so many problems. We do not have only the nuclear weapons as a problem, but we are facing so many problems, and it also affects our nature, the planet. So I think that, what is this root of causes, which endangers not only human beings, but our planet. And my conclusion is that this is the system which promotes us to pursue self-interest, especially our economic system. The Christian Felber, he is Austrian activist and writer, and he's actually also dancer anyway. He initiated a concept, it calls economy for the common good, in 2010 in Austria. The key idea of this concept, is that you can check your constitution, your country's constitution, but I'm sure that you cannot find any sentence to promote competition or pursue self-interest in your constitution. That is true in Japanese constitution, of course, German basic law, of course, Austrian constitution. We cannot find any phrases to promote competition or pursuit of self-interest. UN Charter, of course, promote cooperation, but not self-interest or competition. You know what? Only economic textbook promote competition and self-interest. This is a failure. This is what we need to change. So Christian Felber wrote a book, Change Everything, in English. In German, Gemeinwohl-Ökonomie. Gemeinwohl is German word. It's very difficult word to translate into Japanese or even in English. It is translated into English, common good. Yeah, but Gemeinwohl, if there are any German speaker, native speaker, then maybe you have that idea, but Gemeinwohl is not equal to common good. It's difficult anyway. My interpretation of Gemeinwohl is everyone's happiness. Everyone's happiness. So it's called in English common good, but the Christian Felber's common good means everyone's happiness. We need to pursue everyone's happiness, not self-interest. And his book also provides concrete tools to change our mindset and also our behavior in economy. He proposes a matrix. He listed the 4 values we need to pursue, like human dignity, solidarity, ecological sustainability, and co-determination, 4 values. And then he listed the 5 stakeholders, like customers, employees, financial partners, society. And if we do something, in economy activities, we always need to check this activity is pay attention to human dignity and make employees happy. Everybody's 5 stakeholders happy. We need to check everything, and so that we change the economic system and at the end, societal system to change from self-interest to the common good. This is exactly what we needed also for in our security policy. Why countries want to have nuclear weapons? It's all self-interest. They want to have power. They want to win over other countries. I told about the two-line history is important. In 1946, United Nations held the first General Assembly in January 1946. 5 months after the atomic bomb. The agenda, of this General Assembly, the very first General Assembly, was how to control nuclear energy. United States nations already started to discuss this issue the very next year of the end of World War. And maybe you are not familiar with nuclear disarmament issues, so let me explain. Under this agenda item, how to control nuclear energy, Soviet Union at that time proposed to formulate a treaty, international law, to ban nuclear weapons. Already in 1946, Soviet Union proposed to ban nuclear weapons and to draft a treaty to ban nuclear weapons. So TPNW was had entered into force in 2021, and it was formulated, adopted 2017. Many years ago, Soviet Union already tried to create such a treaty. Why it was not successful? Because at that time, the United States is the only country who had nuclear weapons. United States had nuclear weapons. They did not want to abandon their nuclear weapons because it gives them the superpower, right? Nuclear weapons, superpower. They did not want to abandon nuclear weapons. So this proposal from Soviet Union was failed, and because the United States did not want to get rid of nuclear weapons, Soviet Union decided to follow its path. UK followed the Soviet Union, and the United States, France followed, China followed, and some other 4 countries followed. So we have now 9 countries who are possessing nuclear weapons. It's all about self-interest. So we really need to change it. Otherwise, even if we succeed to eliminate nuclear weapons, we will have another lethal weapons, another power. So what we really need to change is that this mindset, pursuit of self-interest, and instead promote cooperations. That is my answer.
Thank you very much. We now move on to a question from our online audience. Ellen Colorado asks, Your Excellency, do you have any personal anecdotes from your time in the Uruguayan Ministry of Foreign Affairs or any other activities that can serve as a guide for aspiring Latin American youth and agents for change? Yes. Ellen Colorado is asking whether you have any personal anecdotes from your time in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or other activities that can serve as a guide for agents as change, the young people.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, the answer is perseverance, changing times oblige us to think about different ways to reach our goals, to think out of the box, to be creative, proactive, creative and more proactive as to encompass this difficult and complex international political and security context. And as you put it yourself in this, the motto of this event, memory for action, it's memory for, I would say, memory for action and our full commitment to reach together our goals of peace and security in the world. That proactivity and creative minds to go through all these difficult times and difficult situations that we face. Probably there's always a way out, and we had to find that. This is our challenge and our commitment. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your advice, Your Excellency. As we come to the conclusion of this panel discussion today, I believe 3 main words we can take from it are reflection, cooperation, and hope for a peaceful world. I would like to thank you all for being here with us today and for sharing your insights with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you to our panelists, moderator Julianne, and everyone who contributed to discussions and the Q&A. We have heard important reflections on memory, responsibility, and the urgent need for action. We will now move from discussion into policy and practical tools, focusing on how young leaders can turn these ideas into concrete advocacy, education, and engagement. To guide us through this part, please welcome my colleagues and YLF second cohort, Bartolomeu and Matthias. Thank you.
So, good morning, dear delegates and honorable guests and my fellow. So today we will be presenting about our youth handbook. So, so let's wait for a minute. Yep, so here is it. So for our youth handbook, we would like to make it a guide for youth-led advocacy in disarmament. As we all know, disarmament is a big topic where most of the time it can be really technical, a lot of treaties. So our idea is make it to be more understandable for youth and for those who wanted to know more about how they can be connected to disarmament. Yep, so it is a tool that actually bridges knowledge and actions, and it is for youth by youth. When we talk about knowledge and actions, we wanted to provide the knowledge for them, and through the knowledge that they gain, they could also have actions that people in the past that has done as example, and for they can connect their work and to be collaborate with the other youth as well to work towards a better future for a world without nuclear weapon. So moving on to the next slide, please. So our main target audience will be youth interested in disarmament, peace building, international relations, and global security. But most importantly, it is for those youth who cares about this issue but could not find a common ground for them. For example, if you are studying nuclear engineering or sustainability, we could, throughout our youth book, we could connect the dots between those subjects with nuclear disarmament, maybe in a way that, for example, our green legacy tree, which is really interesting, that it combines disarmament together with sustainability. It can be an example for the youth to understand where we are going next and how you could contribute your disciplines to nuclear disarmament. Moving on to the next slide. So the main three objectives first is to connect youth voice with survivor testimony and real-world advocacy. So as we all know, the Hibakusha testimony will be fade off within next 20 to 30 years. So it is important for us to embrace it and kind of make our experience that we have go through to be written in the youth book. And secondly, we wanted to build young people with the capacity to understand disarmament and think ethically in the sense that who is left behind, who is being vulnerable in the situation, and to show empathy to those people that is needed. And lastly is to encourage young people to move from awareness to action through project design, campaigns, and community engagement, where we will show the example that the people in the past that has done and what they can bring forwards through the examples. So moving on, I will pass to my friend Matthias to present the rest.
Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be here. I'm Matthias Lorengel. I'm a representative from Costa Rica. So, regarding the timeline, Your Excellencies, what you are seeing today is a draft. This presentation is actually part of our feedback process. From here, we move into a second revision round with editorial content and content pass. Running through September. After that, we fold in everything we hear from this cohort into a third round, and we are tentatively aiming to publish it in late January 2027. Next slide, please. So I want to highlight how knowledge generates interest, and interest generates compassion. This handbook opens with why advocacy matters, why advocate, then it goes to the foundations, key terms and dates, history, and why it matters. And then it goes to mindset and ethics. Mental health, intercultural respect, gender, and digital ethics. Because how we advocate matters as much as what we advocate for. Next slide, please. From there, We move into current challenges: transitional justice, climate, AI, and nuclear colonialism. Strategic approaches looks at how to actually engage these issues through UN mechanisms, nuclear weapons-free zones, and NGOs, youth-led. And it closes with the action tools, how to design your own project and put peace building practice into action. I want to welcome Tabata, my colleague.
All protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of this presentation, I would like to leave you with one final reflection. What memories would you like to transmit? As you go back home to your respective countries, what message are you carrying to the young people? This handbook grew out of a journey that challenged us in so many unexpected ways. During our journey in Japan, we learned from one another, we reflected on the realities of nuclear weapon, and we're still having the conversations in this room. We had the privilege of listening to the Hibakusha. And these experiences and stories continue to shape the conversations on global disarmament and peace. We plan to ingrain the experiences in this handbook. Every chapter, every reflection, every testimony that reflects the actual events that happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. As you ponder on this presentation that you just listened to, we'd like to hear your thoughts. Your feedback will help us in improving this handbook. So this resource, we need to make it more useful to young people by engaging you. We need your support to make it more inclusive. So if you look at the screen that we have plans to translate this document into different languages. We have Spanish, French, Arabic, Chinese, and Swahili from the country I come from, Kenya. We're also going to make it a living document. We will not just put it into shelves like other policy documents and other handbooks. We encourage you to read it, and that's why we need your input and your feedback to reflect our realities. We are also going to pair it with workshops. We'll have interactive workshops to deepen our understanding and build capacity on disarmament issues and global peace building. We are also going to distribute these books through regional networks, universities, and partner NGOs to maximize youth engagement. Next slide. Next slide. There's a QR code that is supposed to be on the screen. Okay, thank you so much for your time and attention.
We thank the policy team, it was valuable for them to introduce the handbook that they worked on hardly. It will remain the practical resource for future actions. We will now shift into creative part of the program. As a part of this transition, we can now see the tree planting ceremony we held in Senada Elementary School yesterday. A reminder that peace building is not only spoken about, but also planted, nurtured, and carried forward. This next segment invites us to think not only through policy language, but also through expression, storytelling, and imagination. Because peace building also requires new ways of reaching people. Please welcome Meilan and the creative team to introduce this segment. Thank you.
Sorry. Hello, everyone. So we had a very transformative and impactful experience, and we wanted to show you this in a quick video we prepared for you. And we first want to thank to the video members. Thank you.
今でも千田小学校には建物や石碑、木など30点の被害を受けたものが残っています。
国連のこの若いリーダーたちとして
And we are very, very happy to be here and also very thankful to have the chance to meet all of you guys here today.
Heiwa is a small turtle whose origin is inspired by the resilience of the Fukusagi temple in Nagasaki.
でみんな友情を大切にしていますけれども同時に Who hasn't received one yet? Yes, they have.
戦争をなくしてみんなが楽しく暮らせるようにしたいです。
喧嘩をせずに仲良く過ごせばいいと思います。
Do you like soccer? Soccer? You know?
So Pakistan.
みんな持ってる？何か声かけてください。大丈夫？元気に育ってね。元気でよ。しっかりしてよ。見送りしよう。はい、じゃあ一緒に行くよ。ねえ、あっちまでお見送り。
Thank you so much, everyone. And hello, my name is Meilan, and I come from Mexico. And I am so glad to be presenting to you about the work that we have been creating for the past months on the creative outcomes of this youth event, and that we are sharing today with you. I first want to thank to my team because I am so honored to have shared this path with them and having Anna's commitment to the work, Alicia's support and caring, Andrea's wonderful and talented mind, and Sue, Jackie, Christina, Crystal, and everyone who joined yesterday for their support and love that is put in this project. So let me talk to you first about this beautiful video we just presented. With the wonderful work by the video members, we could capture these impactful moments that we lived yesterday at Senda Elementary School. Their energy, dreams, and goals fulfilled us with the motivation to create a better present and futures for and with them. Planting this camellia tree with the lead of Tomoko-san represents not only to grow through adversities, but to grow accompanied patiently and, in Japanese children's words, safe and strong. If there was one thing that connected the most with our younger fellows, was Heiwa. Heiwa is the mascot Andrea and I created to become one more member of the wildlife cohort. Its story is inspired by the Fukusaji Temple in Nagasaki and Sadako's story with the origami crane on the top of her head. You can find out more about Heiwa on the foyer space at the art exhibition we arranged for you. This exhibition is really special because it's a compilation of how different forms of art are crucial to achieving peace, storytelling, and different forms or creative forms or transforming our ideas can help diversifying technical information, as well as having more youth voices who, as we know, got various talents. Please take a caring look at the storytelling projects of YLF, the UNRCPD Art Contest winners, as well as Heiwa's story, and a haiku created for the planting tree ceremony. And speaking about nature, trees, and culture, we are so glad to have had yesterday with us youth peace volunteers who showed us through Tanabata's Star Festival in Japan and various forms of decorating the bamboo trees with our wishes and commitments for a world without nuclear weapons. You can find them here on the stage. And we know that our work needs to go beyond this life-changing experience. So we ask you to stay close to our social media channels because we have also been preparing some video testimonies to inspire other youth on joining this cause. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to invite to the stage Mr. Takehiro Kagawa, Chairperson of the Hiroshima Peace Culture Foundation and Secretary General of Mayors for Peace. Mr. Kagawa has dedicated his career to diplomacy, international cooperation, and peace building. After joining Japan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 1981, he served in key diplomatic posts in the United States, Saudi Arabia, Geneva, China, and Egypt, including as ambassador of Japan to the Egypt and chief negotiator for the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Since 2023, he has been leading two important institutions rooted in Hiroshima's message of peace, working to strengthen global efforts toward a more peaceful and nuclear weapon-free world. それでは、香川様、よろしくお願いいたします。
Thank you. Well, thank you very much for inviting me as a guest. I'm very much impressed by the presentation by young leaders. And in fact, you have experienced a wonderful, experience about many kinds of, the cultural activities, including, the planting, the hibaku jumok, the bomb trees. And you have been back to Hiroshima some years later, together with your family members, but to see, how it grown up, So I think it's really wonderful opportunity for you to come over to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I think your project of handbook memories should be transferred to action. It's really important theme, and also I should mention that I pose questions to any visitors I receive in our museum, at Airborne Museum, that what do you learn from Hiroshima? What do you learn from our museum? It's not just facts, numerical information, how many people died, how big the airborne impact was, all kind of things. But more importantly, you should focus on the individual stories, how survivors, victimized people, suffering, died, and still, the survivors are suffering even after 80 years. So I think such a inhumane character of nuclear weapons, well, that's an important, I think, reality of atomic bombing. Then it poses questions on you that, important questions. What if same thing happens on you and your family member or your beloved, or family, friends? So the lack of imagination, ignorance, and apathy, well, those are obstacles to keep and create, human, the peaceful society, human society. So that, since you have a lot of experiences here in Hiroshima, so I think, I very much hope, and then I think, the Hiroshima people and survivors, evacuees, I really hope that, you will conduct some peace-related activities in your own countries, in your own cities. How it can be done, okay, not only or not necessarily kind of political movement or kind of things, political activities against, the certain policy of nuclear deterrence or the power politics, whatever it is. But, you can promote cultural peace. You can promote, awareness-raising efforts. We are now doing some kind of peace activities. For instance, children's art competition, art contest. With having we ask the children to draw paintings with having peaceful future. Future is yours. I think children are not responsible for at all current peace and security degradation of the peace and security situation in the world. We have to pass down, the peaceful society to next generation. So I think that kind of, culture of peace is one of, I think, tools, to give message to all the people. And also we are now trying to organize a poster exhibition. Last year, more than 100, the exhibitions will take, poster exhibition will took place in many countries and cities. So I think actions, I think, are really important. After you come back to your country and your city. So thank you very much indeed, for coming over to Hiroshima. And I think your journey will be continuing for creating peace. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kagawa, for your thoughtful and powerful remarks. Your message brings us back to the heart of Hiroshima's legacy, the responsibility to remember, to listen, and to act. And as we approach the close of today's program, we now turn to our final reflections from youth leaders who will bring together the ideas, commitments, and hopes shared throughout the morning. Please welcome Afina Nadir and co-Peter Ton Adoat for the closing remarks.
To check. Distinguished guests, Your Excellencies, representative of the United Nations Office for Disarmament Affairs, UNITAR, esteemed partners, honored speakers, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Kurpitathon from South Sudan, and as we come to the close of today's program, it is an honor and privilege to stand before you on behalf of the Youth Leaders Fund. Alongside me is my colleague, Afrina Nida from Pakistan. And over the past year, this journey has brought together young leaders from across the world, united by one shared belief that peace is not simply inherited. It is created through dialogue, understanding, and action. And today remind us that the stories of Hiroshima and Nagasaki are not only stories of the past. They are responsibilities that now belong to all of us.
Hello everyone, konnichiwa, watashi wa Afrina Pakistan kara desu. This program has been extraordinary because it has never been about individuals. It has always been about a global community. The Youth Leader Fund Cohort 2 is made of 100 young leaders around the world. While 50 of us had the privilege of being here in Japan, the other 50 have walked this journey alongside us every step of the way through the online program. So basically, it's 100 people in this program. Today, we celebrate not just those present in this room, but every member of the global YLF family. We would also like to extend our heartfelt appreciation to everyone who's joining us through the live stream. Although you could not join us physically, your presence, encouragement, participation has made you an important part of today's celebration.
And our deepest gratitude goes to United Nations Office for Disarmament Affairs, UNITAR, for believing in the power of young people and for creating a platform where our voices not only heard, but also valued. Thank you for your vision, guidance, and unwavering commitment to investing in the next generation of peace builders. We are equally grateful to the government of Japan, the local authorities in Nagasaki, Hiroshima, and every part of this country, our distinguished speakers, panelists, interpreters, volunteers, organizers, and every member of the team who work behind the scene to make this possible. And most especially to Mr. James, and also Ms. Rebecca, Yuka, Puk, and all the members who make sure that this is possible. Your dedication has made this experience educational and unforgettable.
To our fellow participants, thank you for your friendship, your courage, your curiosity, your willingness to listen to one another. Each conversation, each experience, and each perspective has reminded us that despite coming from different cultures, languages, and backgrounds, we share a common hope for a more peaceful and secure world.
And as we leave Hiroshima today, and for those of us who are living outside Japan, we do not live only with the memories, we live with a responsibility to educate, advocate, and build bridges where there are divisions, and to ensure that the lessons of the past guide the choices of the future. As Professor Kazuko put it earlier today, that we all have these memories. But now, what kind of memories can we carry forward to shape the future? Peace is not a destination for all of us, and we all know. It is a commitment that each of us carries home, and also through the action that we do, and most importantly, everywhere we go around the world. So I requested as well the UNODA, UNITAR, the government of Japan, and the global community to invest in young leaders, work with us, open the doors for us to achieve a world free of nuclear weapons.
Thank you to everyone who has made this remarkable journey possible. Your support has inspired us, challenged us, and empowered us to become stronger ambassadors for peace. The conference may be coming to an end, but our work is not, it's just the beginning. Thank you for believing in us, thank you for standing with us, and thank you for investing in a generation determined to turn memory into action.
And before you leave today, we warmly invite you to visit and engage with the incredible artistic and creative work displayed outside this hall. They are important part of the conversation we have had today and reflect the creativity, the commitment, and the voices of young people from around the world. Thank you very much.
Arigato gozaimasita.
And have a wonderful day. Enjoy your journey as you go.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. To commemorate this beautiful day, which had impactful and very, very, very knowledgeable, like the sessions were very knowledgeable, I kindly request all of you, I kindly request the YLF organizers and the speakers to feel free to use these doors and come up to take a group photo. Thank you. You're welcome. YLF organizers and the speakers, kindly come up, we take a group photo.
Camilla? Elena? Do you want to try and give some directions, or? There's Camilla. One more chair? I think we might need one more chair. Yeah, we have enough chairs. Maya, would you like a chair? Sure. Are we good? We good? Okay, thank you so much.